Hi, this is Tech with Costa, and I'm sharing my engineering journey. In this video, I'm going one step further in security to help you protecting your SSH connections with GitHub. I will also automate this process to make sure you only need to enter the passphrase once when you start the computer. I recommend you adding a passphrase to protect your SSH keys, because if someone gains access to your computer, this will protect you further. For that, let's type cd, clear the terminal, cd into ssh-keygen space -p to change the password. Now we need to specify the name of the file where the private key is stored. In my case, it's this one, and you see that this is the correct email for my case. Now I will type a simple passphrase that I can remember to enter frequently. Type that, hit enter, type it again, and now my SSH keys are protected with this passphrase. This command can also be used if you want to remove a passphrase. In that case, here you would not type anything, just press enter, and then you wouldn't have a passphrase anymore. Now let's clear the terminal and test the GitHub connection again. Type this, hit enter. Now before connection, it asks you for the passphrase. Enter it. Enter, and it works. This is good. Now the connection only works after typing the passphrase. However, this can become very annoying when you are working on a coding project, where you need to interact constantly with GitHub. If I run it again, it will ask for the passphrase once more. To avoid entering the passphrase every time, we can securely add it to the SSH-Agent. And these guidelines are for Windows users. So let's do the equivalent for Ubuntu. The first step is to initialize the SSH-Agent. Let's type this. Now the SSH-Agent is running. Now let's add the private SSH key identity to the SSH-Agent. Since we are at .ssh folder, we can just run the following: ssh-add and then the name of the private key. Enter the passphrase, and the identity has been added. We can also list the fingerprints of all identities currently represented by the agent by typing this, ssh-add-l, and we see that our identity is running with this SSH agent. This means that if we retest the GitHub connection by typing this, it will work every time as long as this identity is managed with the SSH agent. Let's run it again, and it works every time. But now let's reopen the terminal. Close this one, reopen it, test the connection again, and now it asks again for the passphrase. Once more, and it asks again. This is because between terminal sessions, the SSH agent is not starting automatically. I'm gonna show you how to automate this and only enter the passphrase once. For that, let's go to the last section, working with SSH key passphrases. Open that, go a bit down, go to the section auto-launching SSH agent on Git for Windows. This script initializes and manages the SSH agent and adds SSH keys to it for secure authentication. It also persists the passphrase until the computer is restarted. Run LA in the user's home folder. We can see this hidden file, .bashrc. This file is a script that runs whenever you open a new terminal window or tab. It's like the configurations file for bash, and it's used to set up your command line by defining settings and functions. If we append this code to the end of the file, it will run automatically. To edit the file, we can type nano.bashrc. So you see all the default configurations here. Do not change anything, just go down by hitting the page down key in the keyboard. So now I'm in the end of the file. I can hit enter to create a new line and paste the code here. Go a bit up, let me add a comment to identify what this piece of code does. So I need to start the line with a hashtag because it's a comment and will be ignored when the file runs. Then to save the file, I can press Ctrl X, hit Y to say yes, and then just hit enter to overwrite the file. Cat the file to see the changes, and you see the code has been added. If you don't want to edit the file using Nano in the terminal, you can also do it by File Explorer. So since we are running WSL, I can open a File Explorer, go to Linux, Ubuntu, Home, Costa, and then this file. I can show more options, edit in Notepad, go down, here we go. You can also edit the file here. If you reload the terminal, it will ask you automatically for the passphrase you created for this specific SSH key. Enter the passphrase, hit enter. The identity has been added to the SSH agent. Let's test the connection to GitHub. It works. Once more, it works. Let's reload the terminal. Now it didn't ask for the passphrase because it's already in memory. Let's run the GitHub connection again, and it works. Just out of curiosity, if you look at the code, you see that a new file is being used, the agent.env. Let's cd into SSH, la get the agent.env, and this is the file responsible for managing the SSH agent and SSH keys as environment variables. You see that it's using a temporary directory to store encrypted SSH files. If you remove this file, you would need to enter the passphrase again. Let's remove the agent.env, reload the terminal, and now it asks for the passphrase again. So this is the proper way of automating the SSH connections. It will be persisted along different terminal sessions. In the next video, I'm gonna cover the basics of Git and GitHub. Hope to see you there.